In a world where destruction shapes historical narratives, this episode, titled Assassinations in Wartime, explores the stark and unsettlingly reality of targeted killings. In light of Israel's recent assassinations of key Hezbollah and Hamas leaders, as well as an attempted assassination of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, we explore the motives driving these political assassinations. What drives nations to eliminate their opponents? Join us as we analyze the implications of these actions in global conflicts, human rights and international law, revealing how the shadows of war can shape the destinies of nations. Welcome to In Depth. The recent drone strike targeting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's residence highlights the advanced intelligence capabilities of Iran and Hezbollah. This assassination attempt may trigger significant retaliatory actions from Israel, especially against Hezbollah or Iran. Haaretz reported that the assassination of Sinwar raises uncertainty around ceasefire negotiations for the return of Israeli detainees. As tensions mount, this week is expected to be especially turbulent in the Middle East, with Israel also preparing for a counter-strike in response to Iran's recent ballistic missile attack on October the 1st. The evolving dynamics may reshape regional actions and strategies. Amid escalating tensions in the Middle East, the assassination of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar and a drone strike on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's residence mark a significant turning point. Tonight, we explore the motivations behind these actions and their far-reaching implications for the conflict in Gaza and Lebanon. Following Netanyahu's assassination attempt, the geopolitical landscape surrounding Gaza and Lebanon has entered a new chapter, marking a pivotal moment in the ongoing conflict. In today's interview, we will delve into this pressing issue with Paolo Mauri, military analyst from Rome. And a very good day, sir, and it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of In Depth. Mr. Paolo?
Yes.
Good day, sir. Sir, of course, it's a pleasure to have you with us on the show. And I'd like to start off our question with, this will not deter me or the state of Israel from continuing our just war against our enemies in order to secure our future. Netanyahu's post on X following the assassination attempt on his life. Mr. Paolo, what are the key motivations and how do you read and your take, sir, on this, of course, statement by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu?
Well, let me introduce by saying that the Israeli military said he had intercepted 2 additional drones that they launched on Saturday, which set off air raid sirens at military bases like in Glilot, the north of Tel Aviv, and that the system failed to intercept and give warning in the Caesarea area, the area where the house of Netanyahu was. And in a statement, Mr. Netanyahu described the drone strike as an attempt to assassinate him, as we know, and calling it a grave mistake or a big mistake, as we can say. And he added that this will not deter me or the state of Israel from continuing our war against our enemies. So this is the main point. I think that Israel will respond in some way to this attempt of assassination, and I guess that it will be more a military response, but how? There's many options. One could be using the special operation forces to try to find exactly who made this attempt of assassination, and maybe trying to use the intelligence, the secret service, the foreign secret service, to find exactly who ordered it. So certainly we're going to have a kind of escalation, because Israel in some way must respond to this attempt of assassination of his leader. But I don't think that we're going to see a full-scale intervention. Maybe we will find out in the next days how exactly Israel will respond. And it's my opinion that there's going to be more strikes from A and C in Beirut, and more a deepening of operations in the south of Lebanon.
Sir, Israel will extend and will expand more than one attack, and it seems to escalate, and it doesn't want to reach a ceasefire at this point. And I don't think any party now wants to reach a ceasefire. What's your take on this, and how do you read the ongoing situation, of course, as we are discussing it now?
Clearly, the scaling down of the conflict, so the ceasefire right now is no longer an option. Israel must do something, as well as Hezbollah did something. We don't know exactly how Hezbollah made it. We know just that it was a certain type of drone that we don't know. We don't know even exactly who gave the orders. Probably, as it has been told already here, Hezbollah used some kind of Iranian intelligence to strike the house of the prime minister. But I think that in the next days we don't have a de-escalate of the conflict. Otherwise, we're gonna see the opposite. So I think that in some way Israel will respond, and this will trigger another response from Hezbollah, or maybe from Iran.
Mr. Paolo, I'll be back again to you, but now I need to welcome Dr. Wael, who is a political and economic researcher in Israeli affairs. A very good day, sir, and it's a pleasure to have you with us on our show today. And of course, we're discussing a very contentious issue at this point, which is where is the region and what's going on, and where are we, in which direction are we moving on in light of the strong statement from Netanyahu and the recent assassination attempt. How do you foresee this event impacting Israel's military strategy and its position in the regional conflicts, especially in Gaza and Lebanon? And could this, sir, lead to further escalation or prompt a shift in the Israeli approach to the ongoing conflict?
First of all, what's happened in the past few days clearly shows that Israel can never win through the military weapons alone. The continuation of this war, the continuation of displacement, killing, and occupation by Israel, either on the Palestinian front or the Lebanese front, it will never achieve any stability for the region. However, who controls the Israeli awareness in this phase? What controls the Israeli awareness now is the retaliation, occupation, and killing. All of these concepts, including the idea that Israel is threatened. This is what Netanyahu wants, which is convincing the Israeli people that Israel is under threat from the external factors. But let's look at it from a more logical perspective. Thinking about the trends in the neighboring Arab countries, everyone wants stability in the region. Everyone wants peace in the region. However, the main issue remains the Palestinian cause. Hence, everyone understands that not tackling the core issue, which is talking about settlement and the establishment of the Palestinian state, means that the region will be under ongoing conflicts. There will be different groups from different places handle the Palestinian cause in order to make a change and in order to serve their own agenda, let it be ethnic agenda, religious agenda, or an agenda that serves different categories or groups in the region. That's why I'm totally surprised, and everyone who thinks about it logically is astonished from this. The war is in the Israelis' hand. If Israel wants to start a new phase, they can talk about a settlement. They know that reaching the residency of the Israeli Prime Minister means that Israel is not fully immune. Even if they can strike certain establishments or sensitive facilities in other countries, including Iran and Lebanon, this doesn't mean that Israel got impunity, because simple groups all over the world can enter the Israeli atmosphere or enter the Israeli sky and can conduct certain actions. And if not now, it would be in the future.
Dr. Wael, I'll be back again, but I have to ask Mr. Paolo a question now. How will Israelis' assassinations of Hezbollah and Hamas leaders influence the conflict? And do you believe these actions could escalate tensions further, sir?
Well, yeah. I think this action will escalate the tension all around the area, not just in Israel, clearly, not just in Lebanon, but maybe in even in Syria or even in the West Bank. Actually, I think that one of the best scenario or worst scenario.
Back to your point of view, and now we move on to Dr. Wael. Dr. Wael, from your own perspective, how can assassinations influence the balance of power in the region, and do they lead to strategic challenges in the ongoing conflicts?
Of course, this is clear now that there's different development in the events that was not expected from Israel. October 7th events made the confidence in Israel shake despite its military excellence over the rest of the military powers in the region, which means that humble groups can shake the whole region if there is no logical way from the different regimes to change the current reality, which is an occupation power and unoccupied people. No stability can be achieved. We know this from history, all over the different ages. That's why now we see lots of Israelis who immigrated from Israel. They understood that Israel is not moving towards stability and the Rabin's era has ended, and the logical leaders and wise leaders in Israel are totally excluded from the arena, and there are no Israeli leaders now either in the opposition or in the Israeli alliance who clearly and explicitly talk about a possibility for a settlement or making a change towards peace in the region. This means that Israel sentenced itself to be a war state until its end. And even if Israel wins in Gaza, which didn't happen until now, Israel is looking for any kind of win, and they couldn't get it up till now.
Yes,
and on the Israeli side, there is a fierce resistance towards Israel or against Israel, and we can see this in the results a day after another. And Israel couldn't make Hezbollah or dominate Hezbollah completely, and even if they control part of the south, this doesn't mean the end of the residents. Now the balance of power in the region starts to move differently, and the Arab people started to understand that the statements of the Israeli ministers are not logical. The Minister of Finance in Israel talks about the possibility of occupying Egypt, Jordan, and so on. while his government has signed peace agreements with Egypt and Jordan at least, and they haven't dismissed this minister. So there are intentions in Israel that started to appear on the surface in a more rude way even than before, which means that there should be a movement, and this movement started to appear amongst the Arab peoples who started to understand that the Palestinians are the shield for the rest of the Arab countries. So if there is no serious action or procedure against this occupation trend in Israel, and
is the Israeli narrative rude or arrogant or weak?
It's all of them, with all the concepts.
Thank you, sir. Sir, before we dive deeper into our discussion, let's take a look at Israeli assassination of leadership. Stay with us and we'll be back again. Dr. Wael, can you analyze, please, some prominent cases of political assassinations, such as the assassination of Rafiq al-Hariri or Qasim Soleimani, and their impact on regional tensions?
We can see that the Israeli policy of assassination is not a new thing. This policy started a long time ago with the assassination of many Palestinian leaders, starting from Ahmed Yassin, Rantisi, Yasser Arafat, and others.
Yes.
So, this policy is pursued by Israel, thinking that killing the Arab politicians and Arab leaders will weaken the resistance and will weaken the Palestinian dream, or even weaken the neighboring peoples. They thought that they will dominate the other peoples with the power concept, because Israel tries to convince itself that the Middle East only understands the concept of power.
Okay, we move on to Mr. Paulo. And Mr. Paulo, how do you assess the military tactics involved in these operations? Are there risks or advantages associated with such direct actions against high-profile targets?
So first of all, as I already told, they have been used drones. Drones are the system that can avoid Israel air defenses, as targeting the prominent, the high command, the high leaders. Is something that can it can disrupt some kind of the hierarchy of the opponent. But in this case, even if the attack, the attempt of assassination of Netanyahu was good, I think it's my opinion that that wouldn't prevent the stop of the conflict, because inside Israel there are many political figures that they're supporting the Israel policy right now. So cutting the one head doesn't mean that automatically the conflict will stop.
And that was Paolo Mauri, a military analyst, and Dr. Wael Karim, a political and economic researcher in Israeli affairs. Thank you both for your informative knowledge and your, of course, insights. And as we wrap up this episode on assassinations in wartime, we reflect on the unsettling reality of targeted killings and their significant consequences. Just join us next time as we delve deeper into the interplay of power, politics, and morality in our constantly evolving world. That brings us to the end of today's episode of In Depth. Stay tuned for more exclusive stories here on QNews. Thanks for watching.